guess I was actually on the Jersey Turnpike the other day in severe storm, and clearly they have slow down, whatever, variable speed, but people don't. Yeah. So I guess do you have data that shows how effective it is? Because the reality is the two things you just addressed, congestion and weather, seem pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. If there's a lot of traffic, slow down. If there's bad weather, slow down. And so I guess I'm just curious. These are in play already.
Right.
I guess how much? Do you have a percentage of sort of how much it helps? Or?
Yeah. So there's a couple that I can rattle off here, but really there was a report done by the FHWA that shows a lot of that. In 2006 in Minnesota on I-494, I believe it was, they had a 7% increase in throughput through that corridor. In 2010 in Missouri, in a very similar interstate, they lowered severe crashes by 8%. So it kind of did some different things in different locations, which obviously we're going to monitor that data and we'll be looking at it so that, like you said, Mr. Graham, I'll hopefully be able to come back here and present some good stuff from our experiences. So, and I can send that FHWA report if you'd be interested to see some more of that.
No, I'm going to trust you.
Okay, let me write that.
Are we going to have message boards or no?
Yeah, so there's going to be message boards as you enter it, and there's going to be 2 additional overhead variable message signs.
Okay.
And if you look at that one graphic that went from left to right with all the different things, there were 2 additional ones on top of the existing message boards that are already there. So yes, there will be more.
If I could, I guess because, again, I drive the East Coast corridor a lot, and some of the states are very clever in their messaging.
We're your favorite, right?
Well, not this section yet, but some of the areas are very creative with their messages, but which I think would be nice to do, but it also seems to slow people down because they're reading it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings about that. It's fun to be clever, but I don't want to do anything that distracts people either. So. But anyway, thank you. I hope to see a change. Obviously, we all do. But again, I always struggle with, don't people already know to slow down when there's traffic and bad weather? Just seems so obvious.
Well, and so this is less weather related and more congestion. And the example that was given was, you take a funnel and you were to dump a bag of salt, let's say, into that funnel, or grains of sand, whatever it may be. You dump that into the funnel all at once, it's going to take a long time to funnel through there. But if you were to gradually pour it, it will make its way through that choke point at a much faster rate. So the idea is to slow down that traffic before they actually get to the stopping point, being the existing congestion that you saw on that blue line. So less weather related and more congestion related, but again, we're going to be monitoring the effects, and I'll come back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We got briefed on this a little bit on FAMPO, but 2, I guess, questions. You've obviously done enough research, and you've now alluded to that this is not the only location. This has been done before. But before you pull the trigger, you've got to be coming into this with some idea of what you expect the savings in time to be. So what is the line of success that you have kind of picked out as your, what do you hope at the end of a year that you're going to be able to come back and say, we expect it to be a savings of or a reduction of what in accidents?
I would say that if we can cut down on any of the congestion and push more traffic through the area, I can't give you a metric, Mr. Kelly, but we're going to be looking at that. And if we can, cut that average out, the annual hours of delay that the people in this area or the people traveling through this area experience, we'll be looking at that. I can't give you an exact metric of what we're shooting for. It may be out there, so I will see what I can find and let you know. I can't rattle it off the top of my head, though.
Okay, and the other aspect of this, I was noticing in the pictures that you had here, and this has been a conversation, especially now, is you didn't have very many tractor trailers in your picture. And tractor trailers are probably the biggest issue. And in fact, my understanding in the last briefing we got that it's tractor trailer traffic that's on the increase on the interstates.
Right.
And when you start slowing, and frankly, a lot of the congestion is because we have these up and downs and the tractor trailers can't make it up and they decide to take all 3 lanes as they're trying to pass each other. And so how much has that been factored in, and how much is in relation to the highways that it's been done in? And I don't think very many of those highways have hot lanes on them either, so I don't know how much that impacts. I'm just kind of curious. Unless you say I'm wrong, but right now my understanding is one of the biggest issues we have other than accidents is the fact that you get 2 tractor trailers in 2 lanes and it brings everything to a screeching halt, regardless.
Right. Well, again, I believe it goes back to the education and enforcement. Your point is very well taken. I think that you have to obey the law to feel the benefits of the variable speed limit. So you have to understand why, like we said. But as part of our PR campaign, we coordinate with the Trucker Association.
I was about to say that's going to be key because you got to keep them out of that left lane.
That and yes, and there's an enforcement aspect to that too. So when we met with the state police a month or 2 back, that was one of the exact topics that we discussed was tractor trailers driving in that left lane. That's something that we'll work with them as we go through this to make sure that they ramp up the enforcement on that. But it's also the education aspect, like you said, Mr. Kelly. So as we go through the PR campaign, we'll be working with the Truckers Association heavily in partner with the state police.